conscience is that still, small voice that people won't listen to.
Most of us are familiar with Pinocchio. However, this is how the wooden boy looked when he first arrived at the studio. Although this original concept changed, it was the starting point that inspired the storymen and helped the animators to envision Pinocchio. Someone has to be the first person to decide how a character is going to look.
Come on, Copper!
In The Fox and the Hound, the original designs were conceived by Mel Shaw.
I'll first make sketches of the characters the way I see them so that they can be visualized by all the artists the same way. Four-legged animals seem to be difficult to animate. I will make a model such as this so that the animator can see this character from all angles, and it helps him to draw it and visualize it in animation. Then the next step would be to make sketches for the setting where all of this action is going to take place. I'm trying to build mood and feeling, a warm, summery feeling, and then something that was much more dramatic when the hound was running down the fox. And from this point, the stories themselves are put up on storyboards. Then we bring out the very definite, intricate personalities of the various characters. Observing the situation is Big Mama the owl, and she's watching this unusual friendship.
Of course, animation wasn't always that sophisticated. The early cartoons were very crude and rough. Really, they were just glorified comic strips. Mickey was done with very simple circles, a circle for the head, a circle for the body, and he was connected with what we call rubber hoses to the legs and arms. And this was called the rubber hose school of animation. Here's the way Goofy looked. Everything was moving like a stretch and a rubber. Take Clarabelle Cow the same way. I had to learn a lot about movement. For instance, I learned early that things that move together at the same time, very stiff. But if you move them in a counter movement, it loosens it up. A very pliable squash and stretch. When you did a laugh, for instance, you had to get that counter movement. So when the shoulders went up, your head went down. You go, ha, 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 ha. Walt was always trying to make their characters pliable and have weight.
Introducing the Barnyard Nightingale, Madam Clara Cluck.
When she walks out on the stage, Clara Cluck had to walk like she's heavy. And we try to get personality in the way we animated things.
Now, the early animated films had very little acting in them because they were predominantly a series of gags. But still, occasionally you needed to know how a character was feeling for the gag to come off. In one of the first Mickeys, when he was angry and frustrated, the animator wanted to show this by having him clench his teeth and do a little gesture of, darn it. Well, he didn't know how to do it very well at that time. This was the best he could do. We were learning very quickly during that period, although it was by trial and error. In 1931, we made the first version of The Ugly Duckling, and there the acting still was very simple and straightforward. But crude as it was, the audience still felt sorry for the little guy. 7 years later, we made another version of The Ugly Duckling, and by this time, the animators had learned how to make a drawing act. Those silly symphonies were a great place to experiment for all of us, and especially for Walt. He always had something new that he wanted to try. You know, picking the right voice for these characters is awfully important because it pinpoints the specific individual that you're using.
Sure does.
We can know we want a mean villain in it. But there are all kinds of mean villains. Once you get the voice, suddenly you have a very specific individual. You know, like Pig Leg Pete.
So the little lady can take care of herself, no?
Yes!
You know, it takes a long time to find the right voice. There are a lot of good actors, but they can't all do what you want.
It has to create an image in the animator's imagination. So we sure looked everywhere for voice, even into the field of opera. The concept of that cartoon voice changed, though pretty soon, Walt was looking for more believable characters all the time. He wanted characters the audience would feel were sincere. The voices were getting so straight, there was nothing to animate anymore.
Like Cookie Kernel.
Hello there. What's the matter? Why are you so sad?
Very pleasant voices, sir. Yeah. Good acting. No nice voices, but just no character in them from an animator's standpoint.
Nothing for the animator to get a hold of.
Now, don't be so downhearted. There's no need to cry. You're going to be the Cookie Queen.
You know, when you get the right voice and you animate to it, develop a character, you can't imagine any other voice being with that. It'd be like changing your voice, your mind. It makes a different personality out of you.
Oh. Please don't run away. I won't hurt you. I'm awfully sorry. I didn't mean to frighten you. But you don't know what I've been through. I'm so ashamed of the fuss I made.
Oh! Please don't run away. I won't hurt you.
I'm awfully sorry. I didn't mean to frighten you. But you don't know what I've been through. I'm so ashamed of the fuss I made.
Whenever I see little children, I do little parts for them like, please don't run away. I won't hurt you.
I'm awfully sorry. I didn't mean to frighten you.
But you don't know what I've been through. And all because I was afraid.
I'm so ashamed of the fuss I've made.
What do you do when things go wrong?
Oh, you sing a song.
You know, I still remember almost all the lines. I guess I enjoy it. My father, Guido Casalotti, was a singing teacher here in Los Angeles at that time. And one day, one of the Walt Disney representatives called his studio and asked if he knew of a little girl who could sing and speak as a child would. And I was listening on the telephone upstairs. There was an extension. I said, Papa, how about me? And I said, Walt Disney was not in the room to hear my audition. What I found out later was that he was behind a screen in the same room but in the back. And he didn't want to see anyone who would be trying out. He felt that he would be very much influenced by their looks.
with a smile and a song. Life is just like a bright sunny day. Your cares fade away, and your heart is young.